This is a story you may have heard, but never like this. It begins not with a wedding, but with a girl hidden inside a wicker basket, floating down a river in the middle of the night, holding her breath so no one would find her. Her name was Lyra. She was pure-hearted, gentle as morning mist, and she was running away from a life that was never meant to be hers. But to understand why she was in that basket, we must go back to the beginning. Once, in a village that sat at the bend of the great Silver River, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Lyra. She was the daughter of a weaver, and her days were simple and sweet. She fed the ducks at dawn. She sang to herself while hanging cloth to dry. She left warm bread on the windowsill for anyone who passed by hungry. Everyone in the village loved Lyra. Everyone, that is, except Marta, the merchant's wife. Marta was greedy. Marta was jealous. And Marta had a son. His name was Boric. He was loud, lazy, and unkind. Marta had decided, long ago, that Lyra, with her gentle eyes and warm smile, would make the perfect bride for her son. Not because she loved Lyra, but because she wanted to own her. A girl that good, Marta whispered to herself, will work without complaining. She will never run. She will never fight back. Marta smiled her cold smile. She was wrong about one thing. One autumn evening, Marta came to Lyra's father with a heavy pouch of coins. "Your daughter will marry my son," she said. It was not a question. Lyra's father was a good man, but he was old and sick, and Marta's words sat over him like a stone. Before Lyra could speak, the contract was signed. The wedding was set for 3 days hence. That night, Lyra sat by the river and let her tears fall silently into the water. "What do I do?" she whispered. "What do I do?" The Silver River said nothing. But then, something extraordinary happened. A light appeared beneath the surface of the water. Soft, silver, gentle, and slowly, the moon's reflection rose up from the river like a woman made of light. "I have heard you," said the moon. Her voice was like water over smooth stones. "I have heard every tear you have wept into this river for 3 nights. 3 nights, Lyra whispered. "But tonight is the first. You have been crying in your sleep," said the moon gently. "Your heart weeps even when you do not know it." Lyra pressed her hand to her chest. It was true. She had woken each morning with wet cheeks and no memory of dreams. "Can you help me?" Lyra asked. The moon's reflection smiled. "I cannot carry you away. But I can show you the path. The rest must be yours." The moon told Lyra of an old fisherman named Ossen, who lived 3 bends down the river. Every morning before dawn, Ossen sent his great wicker baskets floating downstream to the market in the city, filled with the night's catch. "Hide yourself in one of those baskets," said the moon. "Cover yourself with river reeds and cloth. He will not know you are there. And you will drift away before the wedding bells ever ring." It was a strange plan. A desperate plan. But it was her plan. And Lyra held it close to her heart like a candle in the dark. She waited 1 day, 2 days. On the night before her wedding, when the village was asleep and Marta's house blazed with loud celebration, Lyra slipped from her window with nothing but a small bundle of bread, her mother's old silver ring, and a heart full of courage. She crept along the riverbank. She found the baskets. She climbed inside. She pulled the reeds over herself. She did not breathe. And she waited. What Lyra did not know was this. Marta had been watching. Not Lyra, but the river. For Marta, too, had heard of old Ossen's baskets. She had heard rumors that more than fish traveled the Silver River in the dark. And so, just before dawn, Marta sent her servant to Ossen's dock. "Check every basket," she ordered. "Weigh them all. Anything heavier than a good catch, bring it to me." Lyra, hidden beneath the reeds, felt the basket shift. Felt hands grabbing the sides. Felt the weight of the world pressing in. And then, a voice. Not the servants. Not Marta's. It was old Ossen himself. "What are you doing to my baskets?" The fisherman growled. "Get your hands off them. These go to market. Step aside." There was a struggle of words. Marta's servant pushed. Ossen pushed back. And then, without warning, the rope holding the baskets snapped. All 5 baskets tumbled into the Silver River at once, including the one with Lyra inside. She went under. She came up. She gasped at the cold of the water and held tight as the current pulled her basket downstream, faster than a dream, faster than fear. "Stop her!" Marta screamed from the bank. But the river would not be stopped. And neither would Lyra. The river was fast, and strong, and terrifying. Lyra's basket, not meant to carry a person, began to fill with water. The reeds soaked through. The wicker creaked and split. One side opened like a mouth, and cold river water poured in up to her waist. The bread was gone, swept away. The bundle of cloth sank to the bottom. Lyra gripped the only thing she had left, her mother's silver ring, so tightly it left its mark in her palm. The sky above was still dark. No one could see her. She was alone. She was sinking. She thought of her father. She thought of the ducks at dawn. She thought of bread on a windowsill. I didn't even make it, she whispered. The basket groaned. The river pulled. And Lyra, brave, pure-hearted Lyra, let go. Not of hope. Never of hope. She let go of the basket. And she swam. With her last strength, with frozen fingers and burning lungs, she swam toward a dim light on the far bank. The light belonged to a lantern hung on a small pier. And sitting on that pier, wrapped in a heavy coat, was a young man who had been unable to sleep. His name was Joran. He was the city weaver's apprentice, quiet, thoughtful, and kind in the way that only people who have also known loneliness can be kind. He reached into the water without thinking. He pulled Lyra out. She was shaking, soaked, clutching a silver ring so tightly she had forgotten she was holding it. "Who are you?" Joran asked. Lyra looked up at him, river water streaming down her face, eyes wide and exhausted. "Someone who just escaped," she said. "From what?" he asked. "A life that was never mine." He did not ask anything more. He only wrapped his coat around her shoulders and said, "Then you are welcome here." Word spread, as word does in small places. Marta followed the river to the city, full of fury, full of claim. She stood in the square and declared that Lyra was hers, signed, contracted, bound. But Lyra stood up. This time, she did not hide. She spoke clearly, and calmly, and without fear, of what Marta had done, the coins pressed on a sick old man, the contract signed before a daughter could say a word, the servant sent to check baskets in the dark. The city council listened, and one by one, merchants who had suffered Marta's greed came forward. Shopkeepers, river traders, even old Ossen himself, who had followed the commotion down the road. The contract was declared void. Marta, exposed for all she was, went home with nothing but her own shame, which, it must be said, was heavier than any coin purse she had ever carried. That night, Lyra returned to the river's edge. The moon's reflection appeared again, soft and silver. "You did not need me to carry you," said the moon. "You swam yourself." "I was terrified," Lyra admitted. "Yes," said the moon. "That is what courage is. Not the absence of fear. It is choosing to swim anyway." Lyra looked at the silver ring in her hand. She thought of her mother. She thought of Joran's coat around her shoulders. She thought of bread on windowsills. She smiled. "Will you come back?" Lyra asked the moon. The reflection shimmered. "I am always here," said the moon. "Every night, every river, every child who weeps at the water's edge. I hear them all." Lyra stayed in the city. She learned the weaver's craft from Joran's master, and in time, she and Joran built a life together, quiet and warm and full of the things that matter. Morning light, shared bread, ducks along the riverbank. Her father came to live with them when he was well enough to travel. He never signed another paper without reading it 3 times first. Old Ossen was given a standing order for fresh fish every Friday, paid generously, without question. And every full moon, Lyra left a lantern burning at the end of their little pier, so the light could find the next person swimming in from the dark. And if you were to ask the moon what she had learned from watching all the rivers of the world, she would tell you this. No chain, no contract, no fear, and no basket, can hold a person whose heart has already decided to be free.